So yeah, we already knew we were going to talk about modern marketing. Why modern marketing at a sales conference? Well, because from our work, we know how effective modern marketing can build a strong brand and in consequence can build sales. And a clear and vivid brand can build sales. So let me start with a little anecdote. Last year at a IAB forum here in Warsaw, I met Pablo Garcia. He is a Spanish innovator, one of the greatest innovative minds of Spain. He got a title of Innovator of the Year from MIT. If you don't know him, I highly recommend his story because he's amazing. He started his first company when he was like 17. So I asked him, I did an interview with him, and I asked him one simple question. What should come first in your company? Is it a product or is it marketing? And his answer was that, of course, the product should come first, but marketing should be at least as important as the product you develop. So kind of coming from that, we had great ambitions to tell you everything we know about modern marketing. So we did some brainstorming, me and Michael. And we came up with this. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's half of the knowledge we had about marketing. So two problems came up. First one was we only have 20 minutes, which is, yeah. And the second one was this guy. That's Mick. He was our major problem. Why? Because he asked us to give you 3 tips that you can implement in your daily actions. So, as grown men working serious jobs, we decided to whine about it a little bit and to change the direction. So instead of telling you everything we know about marketing, we decided to tell you about problems that we encounter in our everyday work and the solutions to those problems, because of course a problem is worthless without a solution. Here I think it's worth to mention, we both work at marketing agencies. Michael works at K2 Media, I work at Branches. So in our everyday life, in our work, we encounter many issues which we have to find solutions to in order to communicate the brands we work for effectively. But let's get to the point. So the first problem we want to talk about is briefing, and why we think briefing and knowing your brand and showing it through your brief is really important. I work as a new business manager, so in my work I get around, 20 briefs a month from different size companies, reaching from pharmaceutical manufacturers to small businesses. And to tell you the truth, out of those briefs, on average, maybe 1 or 2 have enough information to let us do our work well and to build a campaign or a strategy that will work. But let me show you an example of why this is important. And the example I picked was actually Starbucks. It happened this year. So Starbucks is a brand that sells really expensive, at least for me, I don't know how about you, but it sells really expensive coffee to people around the world. And when you think of Starbucks, it's a hip brand, it's cool, it's maybe a little bit posh. But most of all, it's a brand that creates an identity, it's a brand that creates a lifestyle. In March this year, Starbucks created a campaign that was called Race Together. And the objective of the campaign was that the baristas at the Starbucks shops were supposed to write on the cups. You probably know that, it's pretty famous. Baristas around the world in Starbucks write your names on the cups. And they tried to change it, which obviously wasn't a good idea. So instead of writing the names, the baristas were supposed to write Race Together and spark conversation with the customers about race and equality. That sounds crazy. And of course, it didn't end well. And those are three things happened actually. The first thing was the comments on social media. This is just 3 comments out of the 1,000 that appeared on social media. Another thing that happened was my favorite, memes. There was like a ton of those. That's my favorite one. And the last thing that happened was this guy. He is a VP of Global Communication of Starbucks. Because of all the hatred and all the negative comments on his Twitter account, he actually had to shut down his Twitter account. And why am I showing you this example? Because this example is a perfect representation of marketing specialists or an agency that works on your brand and that doesn't basically have sufficient information to create a campaign that's going to be, well, oh, thank you, Michael. Aligned with your brand. They don't know your brand character, they don't know your brand values, they don't know the style of communication, and they didn't know the brand values and the tone of voice. So, but we promised you that we were going to give you solutions to the problems we mentioned. So the first obvious solution that I was talking about was brief thoroughly, which means that your brief the brief you give to either an agency or a marketing specialist shouldn't just have the basic information about the campaign you want to do. So it shouldn't just have a budget or channels you want to use or the KPIs you want to achieve. It should also have what your brand stands for, what it is, how it communicates, who it communicates with, and what language it speaks. Because that allows people like us to do our work good. The other solution to this problem, we find this very efficient, but it rarely happens anywhere. It never basically happens. It happened to him like once. And that's hosting a masterclass with your agency in order to show them your brand. Because you are the only people that know the brand as well. Really good. So this was a solution that we found very effective, and another advantage of it is that it allows, if you don't have a clear identity of your company, it's going to allow you to maybe build one. And that's about it for me. Michael?
Almost there. All right, how many of you work for marketing agencies or public relation agencies, anything like that? Anybody? One, thank you. Well, generally, we have a lot of know-how here to show you actually, and we're kind of selling it to you. This is what we do on a daily basis, every day, day by day. So we want to start off that we really care about Generation Y and Z in our communication because, well, we find them that Generation Y is influenced by, okay, hello? Almost there? And almost there, and Generation Y and Z. Okay. In general, Generation Y and Z, in our opinion, is developing so fast and so rash that, well, it's really important for us to notice that it's going sector by sector, day by day, and both Generation X is being influenced by Generation Y, and Generation Z is being also influenced by Generation Y. Therefore, we know that we care about our intimate zone, and we really want for people to not to go, I know I'm shaky, it's like one of my first times, so you gotta forgive me there. I'll get down with it. So the intimacy zone, left hand, maybe? Oh, it's not that bad actually. So we know that Generation Y cares about keeping their stuff together. They don't want their parents to be on Facebook, for instance. They don't want to be infiltrated, and they care about, well, caring about their intimate zone altogether. They're mysterious for us, and it's kind of the most beautiful thing for a marketer like me or Adrian or anybody to do is to get the mystery of Generation Y opened. Because then you're going to sell your product, whatever you have. It can be a small box of matches, it can be a car, it can be a product, it can be software. Well, we know that they're 24/7 hours a day online, all the time, and that's where they live. If you ask a person from Generation X what the internet is, they'll tell you, it's my laptop, it's my computer, it's my phone, it's something like that. Maybe it's my car sometimes. But if you ask a millennial what the internet is, it's absolutely everywhere. It's on my phone, it's e-commerce, it's, well, anything, absolutely anything. I don't even own a Snapchat account. I hate it, but I know that it works, and brands are starting to reveal the power of Snapchat. For instance, I work generally in social media. Well, nowadays that we have adverts everywhere, we have millions, tens of thousands of adverts day by day exposed to us on our phones, on computers, on the subway, absolutely everywhere. Well, we know that Generation Y is absolutely heart-driven. They don't want one job for a lifetime. They want to change jobs, they want to do something new every day, every step. We all do that here. Who here actually wants to have one job for the rest of their life, except being a rentier and just having a lot of money? Nobody, exactly. Well, we notice that if they're heart-driven, they need to get unique content, they need to be communicated in a very specific way. Both Generation Y and Generation Z, because our parents, for instance, are influenced by us. I don't live with my parents anymore, but somebody's at 30, sometimes they still do. I don't know how they do that, because it's got to be a pain in the ass, but with all due respect. So if, for instance, my mom buys a product, and I don't like it, I tell mom, that's shit, I don't like it. Don't buy those cookies. And my mom is influenced by me, Generation Y, and she buys something else. Same goes for Generation Z. When you have little kids that are, I don't know, 10 years old, they have Snapchat, they don't like Facebook, they don't care about Twitter, and Nasha Klasa and stuff like that is totally off the list. Well, they look up to us. And that's all about influencers. If you ever try to work with influencers, you notice that they have reach that is beyond my imagination. We pay a lot of money to people, influencers, like, for instance, bloggers or people like that, and they have amazing reach. It's, for me at least, I very much more trust in ATL campaigns, in influencers, than ATL campaigns. Because putting a billboard by Galeria Mokotów for 50 grand for 2 months is a waste of money, in my opinion, totally. It's better to get 5 influencers to post content about your brand for a month, and you're gonna get better ROI altogether. We've done it, I've done it for many brands, and it's almost always worked. But there were 2 dudes that in 2011 wrote a book about getting to Generation Y, the Vanderbrew and Berger, and they created a crush model. Well, that was 2011, and it's maybe not that more relevant at the moment. But generally speaking, each of these letters stands for something that's, for at least in my opinion, on an everyday basis, when I work and I promote various brands, biggest brands in the world in the pharmaceutical industry, or in alcohol, for instance. That's mainly what I do for the last, what I've been doing for the last 12 months. This model works for me. Well, C stands for cool. If your brand, in our eyes, Generation Y, isn't cool at all, well, we're not interested. R stands for relative. If you use relative content for us, well, you get our attention. If you use flat content, for instance, my brand is better than my brand A is better than brand B, that doesn't mean shit to us. Absolutely not. U stands for unique. If you want to stand out of every other advert that you get on the web, wherever, your adverts have to be unique. Well, some of you may think, well, not exactly. I have adverts that are totally normal like every other, but I use them hundreds of thousands of times, for instance, on the web. Well, and there's like really big return of investment, because when we have the pipeline that everybody here, that's about sales, I'm about marketing, so that's a little bit different. When you have the pipeline and there's a lot of, what's that? I was almost there. All right, for instance, if we have a lot of stuff going on around, like I told you before, you have a lot of adverts, you have a lot of communicates coming from all around the world. Well, it's not going to get you anywhere if your brand still isn't unique. And if it's flat like everybody else, it's the scale that matters. But the scale is very, very, very expensive. As I said, you can spend $50,000 and not go anywhere, or go the same with 5 influencers, for instance, have that budget. S stands for self-identified. If your customer identifies himself with your brand, best scenario, Nike, just do it. For instance, everybody that loves Nike, which is a love brand of course, they want to feel like during those commercials, well, when I run and I see an advert of Nike, just do it, I want to look like that guy, I want to run like that guy. And that's exactly what those marketers were doing all the time. And H stands for happiness. That is absolutely a very, very firm word, for me at least, but it's trivial. It's absolutely trivial. But my opinion, and Adrian's opinion, and many marketers out there, if you make somebody happy and you make their life better, you're improving their life, you're helping them make better choices, well, you stand for something there. And they're beginning to trust you more and more and more. And then in the end, at the end of the pipeline, they buy from you. There are a lot of elements on the way, of course, like price or targeting or everything else, but in general, this model lets you create content and strategies that are efficient. I've been doing this for the last 3 years, day by day, and it absolutely works for me. Almost there. And talking about Generation Y, how it's really, really important, well, I'd like to show you that there are many cases in the world that you haven't seen. Almost there. That prove.
They never say.
Okay, you didn't see that. Almost there. This is a case about Generation Y and Generation Z and how you want to get their emotions moving, emotions going.
It's just me and him. We kind of take it as, all right, this is all we got. This is our team right here, and nothing's gonna break this team up.
American families have changed,
Sometimes we get looks just from being a mixed family.
and while they may look different, they're still as wholesome as ever. And who better to say this than the beloved brand American families grew up with? Honey Maid. Everyday wholesome snacks for every wholesome family. It was the first time an American brand had so clearly stood up for all families. This is wholesome, and the nation took notice.
Honey Maid, featuring both interracial and gay parents in an ad for graham crackers that's been viewed more than 5 million times.
Honey Maid hashtag, this is wholesome on fire.
But unfortunately, a lot of people didn't agree with our message. We were boycotted. We were called sinful.
Even the right-wing conservative group 1 Million Moms calling the ad a, quote, attempt to normalize sin.
But instead of backing down, we asked 2 artists to take every negative tweet, comment, and post, print them out, roll them up, and turn hate into love. And the best part was all the positive messages we received. Over 10 times as many. With over 270,000 shares on social media, this simple video drew in 3.5 million views in only 4 days. It earned over 250 million impressions from social and PR alone, and was one of the most shared articles in the history of The New Yorker. And for the week it launched, it was the most shared commercial in the world, all for only $6,000 in paid media. Perhaps a chart showing Google searches from...
Thanks, Adrian. That wasn't supposed to happen. In general, the next element of the case shows you that throughout the last 5 or 10 years, I'm not sure, but that's a long time span, searches for this company went in Google from flat in about 4 months, zip. And all thanks to spending $6,000 on paid media here. Okay, they had to pay those 2 girls to create that idea, and they had to rent a place and roll some paper. 250 million impressions. Do you can imagine how much money that would cost in a classic ATL campaign or any other campaign in the world? Well, this is a really, really cool case that shows you that you have to work on human emotions and touch, of course, subjects that are very crucial for Generation Y and Generation Z. and of course are influenced by Generation X. Well, in the end, it's all about human emotions. That's what I noticed working with people. When people are nervous, like me right now, and when people tend to think too much about their work, as in getting from point A to point B. Well, in my work, if I generate human emotions, I make people happy and make them money, of course, on the way, because that's why we all work. Well, that's really important for us and marketers out there to work on human emotions because we know we can use them. It's a really cold expression, but I know that using human emotions is a bad thing to say, but that's what we do. When you have the Maslow pyramid of needs, or you have physiology needs, you need to be happy, and etc., etc. I use that on practically every presentation and tell my clients that it's really important for you to work on needs, on your clients' needs. Well, does your product or service satisfy anybody in any way? Well, if it doesn't, then your product should. Some products, some companies don't tell you that my product serves some satisfaction for people. They either don't know, don't want to know, don't care. And those brands don't go too far. 86% of medium small businesses in Poland fall in the first 24 months because they don't have the target specified. They don't know where their target needs are. It's been studied and we've noticed. And lifting sales, because that's where we're all here, well, it's about working on human emotions. Because only sales exploit human needs and marketing creates them. The best case scenario and the easiest way to explain this is, well, marketing creates needs, as in, do you really need a tablet? You have a laptop, you have a phone, all those functionalities are in those two devices. Another tablet costs you, I don't know, 500 Zs, 1,000, whatever. You're not really in that big need of that product. Same goes to guys who understand. Car tires. You can buy one set of car tires for a whole year, spend a little bit more, then buy a separate pair, separate 4 car tires every year. These needs were created by marketing, and you could go on and on and on and on. Well, there's another thing Generation Y and Z generally really care about. It's being bold. This is an expression that has been created a few years ago, and we all know about it, but I've noticed that we don't all use it. If you see in any adverts actually on the web or outside, this is our product, it costs 2.5 PLN, it's the best. That's not being bold. That is totally not unique, it has nothing to do with the model crush. It's not cool, not unique, no self-identifying. It doesn't get you anywhere, it's flat, and it's shit. Like this, the #1 product of the market. This is what we hate, this is what we don't notice. We get thousands like these every single day. Well, I encourage my clients to break the rules. I work for big corporations, and I know that they have guidelines, CIs, and it's really hard, but I'm at that moment where I just kind of try to force them and show them, for instance, what they can get by posting other content, by trying to reach somebody else. It's not maybe breaking each time, you have to start with bending the rules. I bend rules every chance I get, and move out of the comfort zone every chance I get. And it's been working for me. I've been selling, I've been creating new products, and I sell products to my clients. Actually, every month I get bigger budgets thanks to that, and I get bigger reach, and it keeps going on. Therefore, leaving the comfort zone is crucial for marketers. If you don't leave the comfort zone, well, you're going to be standing in one spot like everybody else and not moving forward. In general, being bold is thinking out of the box. Like we saw in that case earlier, that wasn't a typical reaction to a crisis. A typical marketer 5 years ago would write a letter, a single letter to all those people, in best case scenario, of course, I'm sorry you feel like this about our product. And this way, creating a very bold reaction for a crisis made us remember that, and it gave 250 million impressions, PR, both social media. Concentrating on Generation Y's demands. We want. Our parents did want. Either they were given, and maybe if they were lucky, they got something really nice. We want. I want an iPod. I want an iPhone. I want to live a great life. I want to go to the Caribbean. And, well, That's how we live, that's how we roll, and believe it or not, that's where the world is going, and that's how our kids are going to react in a few years, if you don't have kids yet, like me. Working on human emotions, it's really crucial because, again, this is flat communication. If you have flat communication, well, you're just boring. It's all about model crush. It's about being cool, relative, unique, self-identifying yourself with the client and making him feel like he wants to be your brand. And being happy, which is really, really crucial because, well, if you're not happy at your work, well, why are you there anyway? I know making money is really important, but, well, it's not going that far. There's another case about really, really old content. Has anybody seen the $1 Shave Club? That's not that bad. Okay, can you roll that, please?
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, Papa. Stop paying for shave tank you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
And apart from being bold, that content was viral. Viral is a word that we are all absolutely terrified to use. If a client comes to me and says, dude, I want a viral movie. I want it for 5,000 Z's. Make it the biggest hit on YouTube. I'm like, good for you, no. And it's absolutely not possible, and viral content cannot come without using the crush model, moving out of your comfort zone. This showed you that a simple, bold idea, because this dude went in a warehouse, used, for instance, I know this is a big scenario, but this movie cost 10,000 bucks, more or less, give or take. If you use a Rev Cam, it costs renting 50 grand. This is way, way better, in my opinion, and many marketers out there, and salespeople, I suppose, because we all laughed, that it's better than a Nike commercial that was made in Dubai with 15 runners and costs, I don't know, 250 grand, for instance. This stays in your mind. This is vital, this is bold, this is communicating to Generation Y all around. There was a lot of talking about inbound and outbound today, and I was kind of terrified because inbound and outbound through the prism of sales is totally something different when it comes to marketing. In inbound, well, I use inbound on a daily basis. It's something we all know, but to be honest, in marketing, well, inbound marketing concentrates on quality. If, again, an ATO campaign has one slogan, it's going around the world, and the effective scale makes it work, but it's expensive. If you have that budget, great for you. If you don't, use inbound. And I highly recommend that you use inbound marketing when promoting any simple brand. Because we start off from things that are revealed by a consumer on the first hit. For instance, web design. If you have an old school web design that's, well, not user-friendly, isn't responsive, I can't open it on my mobile phone, well, I'm not trusting your company. That's absolutely crucial for me. If you're on the second page of Google, you might as well be dead. Totally honest. Social media is something that we've been working on for the last, I don't know, 10 years more or less. Facebook is up, I don't know, I think 11, I don't remember at the moment. 2005, well, I was kind of close. And there are more and more platforms are being released, and more platforms are creating for 4 hours, and it was a simple email. Dear Sir or Madam, screw that. I like sending letters. Letters are really have gravitas. And I noticed that when I work with public relation agencies, and we send letters out and send information in a not typical way, well, then we get their attention. And through media monitoring, we know that our customers complain there. Customer service isn't only telephones anymore, of course, so it's not. But for instance, if you notice that on Facebook, you have a little green dot under the page name if it's, for instance, a mobile phone company, a telecom company. Well, that means they respond in under a certain amount of time. It's not in minutes. For instance, Plus is under 180 seconds, I think, responding. I asked on Twitter a couple of days ago when I lost my phone on the subway, on the bus, who can I call? Please, dear ZTM, help me. I got a response in under 5 minutes from Warsaw ZTM. I was absolutely astonished. But generally, inbound marketing is allowing you to spend your money effectively. I know we all have the problem that we fight for budgets. We have our budget if you have your own brand. And if you don't spend your money effectively, as we all know, and we all fight about that, well, then you're going to have a problem sooner or later. Not all of us can stack up money and be prepared for the next 2 years of not getting a return on our investments. That's like a very minor situation around the world, especially I find in Poland. Therefore, these inbound solutions let us spend this money more effectively because we concentrate on targeting specific consumers, our future customers, instead of communicating to the masses. Old school ATL is being above the line. We had ATL campaigns, billboards, TV spots, radio spots, etc. Then we had BTL, we had being a little bit more specific when it comes to communicating to people around both marketers and B2C and B2B. And nowadays, I find the right expression to be on the line. If you're on the line, you're bending the rules, you're doing something you don't want to do, you're moving out of the comfort zone, and in general, you're moving forward. Because old school marketing, not as in, not inbound, talking to masses is absolutely not working for me. And I've been through very many sectors throughout this time, and I highly recommend it. Well, in general, we have 3 tips that we want to tell you. As Adrian said before, it's really important to get your agency or everybody that works for your company to know your product. On a daily basis, I only get a PDF file. This is my product, this is my brand, deal with it. Well, hosting a master class is the best thing I've had to do with my customers. And they sat me down for 8 hours and kept telling me what the product is about, what it stands for, what the tone of voice is, what's the history. And that really gets you going, and you want to work for that product then, if you believe in it, of course. The second thing, Generation Y and Z are clue. Well, if you don't talk to millennials, and you don't understand that in 5 years, they're going to be making major consumer decisions, well then, you're not going the right way. Being bold and crush your competition. By being bold, we saw 2 cases that were way cheaper than classic old school marketing. And by the model crush, not everybody can go this way because not all brands can communicate this way, but I strongly believe that taking one of these letters out every once in a while and using it with your brands, well, can get you further day by day by baby steps. And I think that would be all for today after those 3 hints. Anybody, anything? So thank you.